back with another short one, and this time I wanted to show off something that isn't actually mine personally, but that I just basically happened to have a chance to look at. It's the BlackFencer indoor longsword trainer. Now, formalities first, as always. Basically, I'll have a short talky bit first, just basically say what I want to say about the piece at hand. Then we'll have some pictures after that, one with the stats and then just some other photos so you can have a look at the thing from different perspectives. And there will be a small video of me using the indoor trainer just so you can actually see it in motion, really. And as always, there will be timestamps in the description, so should you want to jump around then you're free to do so, really. Okay, now, BlackFencer indoor trainer. The concept of a longsword indoor trainer isn't new, of course. There are several around. There's more around now after COVID drove up demand, basically. And BlackFencer has one as well. And as I said, this isn't mine. This is from a club member of mine, but he hadn't had a chance to pick it up yet, so I got to play around with it a bit, really. And I have to admit, I'm kind of in the luxurious position that I don't necessarily need that, because I live in an old building and our ceilings are really quite high, 3.55 meters. So really quite high still. Swinging a sword around indoor has traditionally been the bane of many people doing HEMA. I certainly have, in other flats I've lived in, come across the problem that the ceiling wasn't quite as high as I thought. It isn't unusual to visit a friend and then just kind of see the scratch at the ceiling that kind of shows that at some point in their career they haven't paid enough attention when swinging the sword around indoors and stuff like that. So that is where those come in, really, and they are quite handy for that. Especially when you don't really have a chance to train and you just want to move around a bit. Of course, it can be argued that you could use something else for that, like a heavier stick, or for one-handed moulinets, for example, in the past I've just used a hammer or anything. But then again, this one of course has the advantage of actually having a proper grip, which is nice. And depending on what you have from BlackFencer, it might just be the exact same grip that you have on the swords you actually use for training, which is nice, of course. So there is something to it, and just from a personal perspective, I think it's also just great fun to throw this thing around, really. A bit more fun than just using a stick, as far as I'm concerned. Nothing against sticks, I quite like them, they're fun. But still, this one is also really quite nice. What I particularly like about the BlackFencer one is of course that it is nylon and pretty much rust-free components when it comes to the metal that they use, which I find quite handy because this is just one of those trainers that you don't need to pay that much attention to. If you use it, it's fine, you can touch pretty much all over it, and if you don't use it, you can just put it away somewhere and don't have to worry too much about it when it is in storage, really. So that is certainly an advantage I find for having a nylon one, really. This is the version that has the side ring to it. Now, makes it a bit harder to transport, depending on how much space you have, at least if you transport multiple things, simply because it does have a bit more bulk. This is like about 5-ish centimeters that it comes out. You'll see it in the stats, really. One advantage though is it makes it much easier to hang somewhere, so there's that going for it, which is nice. But yeah, really not too much to say about this one. I can just really say that I quite like it. I've swung it around a bit a few days, really, and it's quite fun. It comes in at 1.4 kilograms, which is a good weight, really. It feels more massive, but I think that's mostly just because it is like proper weight in a smaller form factor. So, but it doesn't feel like a brick. It just feels like it is a sword that has some heft to it, which is not necessarily bad, especially if you want to use it for training. So you can actually use it for nice strength training, I would say. So that's good. The POB is about 6-ish centimeters, roundabout. So yeah, doesn't feel unwieldy in the slightest or anything. The grip is nice and long, so should you want to use your gloves to just get in the habit of it, maybe breaking them indoors before you use them in training, you'll definitely have enough room for using heavier gloves for that. Yeah, all in all, just really a nice thing. So if you want one, need one, this is nice. Cheers.